Thanks, Dan. You call me up right away. Take my energy and sit down and get up again. Usually it's more crowded here, and I get my seat for somebody. Yeah. The last two meetings, I was still to come and pray. Supposed to got cancer due to bad weather.
So you're the reason.
I saw Lenny at the fire hall dinner. I said, I'm a crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I see your husband all the time. I gotta drop my roommate off that
On topic tonight, it's not going to travel, right? Some people come in.
This is a lot of people.
Is it? Yeah.
But I think
I've been there for a while.
usually there's maybe 6 or 7, but it's the regular people.
Oh, yeah?
Very few.
How you doing? See you. Thank you. You too.
I need like a glass of vodka every time I get back. We actually have a
Call to order the Barnegat Township Committee on March 10th, 2015. Provisions of open public meeting.
Pursuant to the requirements of the Open Public Meetings Law, adequate public notice of this meeting has been given. By publication in the required newspapers, the date, time, and location of this meeting more than 48 hours in advance. By posting advance written notice on the official bulletin board in the municipal building. By filing advance written notice to the township clerk for the purpose of public inspection.
Roll call of officials present.
Committeewoman Taylor? Here. Committeeman Billy?
Here.
Committeeman Moreno?
Here.
Deputy Mayor Lucella?
Here.
Mayor McKay?
Here. Can we please now have the invocation of Reverend Glenn Swank, pastor of the Barnegat Bay Assembly of God.
Let us pray. Lord in heaven, we thank you for the many blessings that you bestow on us in so many ways, and we thank you for your blessings that come through the people that serve our community. And Lord, I pray especially this evening for those who serve in the leadership of our town. I pray for these on our town committee that you will bless them with wisdom and understanding, with health, with grace, and with patience. And Lord, we also pray for those who serve and protect us, that you will also be a protector to them. And I pray this in your holy name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Reverend. Salute to the flag. If you would please rise. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now we will have a presentation by Carol Holmes, Southern Ocean Medical Center, on Paint the Town Pink. Ms. Holmes.
Good evening. As you can see, I'm not Carol Holmes. I'm Janice Franco, co-chairperson of this big event and the lead-off speaker. Meridian joined this Paint the Town Pink last year, and we are now being a part of it this year. Hopefully we can turn to Barnegat for the month of May. And what that all means is it's a community-wide effort to raise awareness of the importance of annual mammography. We want to encourage women in our community, aged 40 and older, to have their annual mammograms, to raise money to provide underserved women in our community, and to make a difference in the lives of the women in our community. Early detection is a woman's best defense against breast cancer. I don't need to tell you about that. All right, a little bit of history. 2007, Red Bank, as a grassroots thing, the only town, started this and became Pink Bank for the month. And then it grew. 2010, Monmouth Beach joined them. 2011, some more towns. 2012, we had 8 towns. 2013, Meridian got involved, and it expanded to 23 towns. And they also put some money into it. And they had guest speakers, Juliana and Bill Rancic came to town at their culmination event. In 2014, they're planning on having 30 towns and maybe even more, because everybody that hears about it wants to be a part of it. And we hope Barnegat is really going to embrace this. The Pink Fund, you want to talk about the Pink Fund?
It's more about awareness.
Yeah. I brought a little packet for each of you at the end of my presentation. It lists all the towns that are involved in this. No, I have a different packet today. It's a different presentation. Meridian, since they're in it now, will provide the town with a banner that looks like that, that'll say Barn and Pinkat on it, and it's about 34 feet long, and they will also provide 100 pink bows and the labor to install the bows on probably the telephone poles or the trees or wherever the town chooses to do them. Yeah, we have visual aids. So we're asking you to consider joining on with this, and where would we put the banner, and where do you want the bows hung, and it's all up to you. And we provide the month of May.
How long do you?
May 1st to May 31st, and that's it. And you'll never know it was here afterwards. Your town will be coached by a Meridian Health liaison, who could be Carol, myself, or Randy Russell is the Meridian employee. That's our contact person. We have her business card for you. Your town name turns pink for the month. You'll be included in the paintthetownpink.com with links to your businesses, your town sponsor, and your community event, should you choose to host a community event. That's all voluntary participation. A banner will be displayed at a designated spot in town. Ribbons are hung, and you'll get business and community kits for every group who registers as a pink partner. If you go to the website paintthetownpink.com and register, then all this publicity will be on the Meridian website for you. Carol, you want to add anything?
I don't know if any of you had the opportunity last year to drive down Bay Avenue in Manahawkin in the month of May. They had huge pink bows all along the street. And what ended up happening is, once they started doing that, a lot of the businesses we invite, and we've been to the Chamber and Rotary, and we're trying to go out and individually invite businesses to participate as well. And what we ask them to do is we have a kit that has window clings, and it has the logo that we need to work with. The whole thing that ended up happening last year is people really got involved. You might have seen cars driving around with the magnets on them, that sort of thing. It ended up, I work over at the Imaging Center, and it really did create awareness. What's really nice about this program is it's fun, it's pink and all that, but it also, we did have more women coming in at the end of the month of May and into June saying they had their scripts in their purse, and seeing all that and all, it really made them actually do their appointments. So it was really nice, it was effective, and we're really happy that they want to extend it into Barnegat. So, and we have some businesses that would love to do it. We have some examples of how people did, what they did. Some places actually, they, maybe you could do something special pink in the town. They all use different things that related to their type of business. So we appreciate it if you can consider it.
I know you made a presentation at the Chamber of Commerce the other morning when we were there, and I think your presentation hit a lot of those businesses, and they hit the point, a lot of those businesses, so I think you're going to get a lot of cooperation from the businesses in town, and we'll all discuss that.
Okay, I think that's great. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for coming. Resolution 2014-108.
Resolution authorizing the Township Committee to retire into closed session for the purpose of discussing personnel, public safety, contractual litigation matters.
Motion to table resolution.
So moved. Second.
Roll call.
Committeewoman Taylor?
Yes.
Committeeman Billy?
Yes?
Committeeman Morano?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Lucella?
Yes.
Mayor McKinney?
Yes. Let's see, mayor's report. And we'll go to committee reports. I'll start with everybody's favorite topic lately, the landlord-tenant ordinance. On the agenda this evening for the second reading and final passage is the much discussed landlord-tenant ordinance. The purpose of this ordinance is to enhance the ability of the township to regulate the growing rental community. Vast majority of landlords in Barnegat are, in fact, responsible property owners who select their tenants wisely. This ordinance will not impact those landlords who care for and take pride in maintaining their property, along with selecting their tenants very carefully. Unfortunately, there is a small number of landlords in Barnegat that are irresponsible, and as a result, this ordinance is needed to address the problems they create from their lack of due diligence and adequate oversight. Much debate has in fact surrounded this ordinance, especially the part regarding whether a landlord or the township has the ability to deny housing based on a past criminal record. In my professional opinion, the answer is no. We as the township cannot deny housing to a potential tenant based on a past criminal record. And to prove that point, I'd like to ask each of you to consider the following. If a municipality could legally deny housing to individuals with a past criminal record, then wouldn't every town in New Jersey have a law in place preventing people with past criminal records from coming to their town? Obviously they would. I know why. The reason why towns do not have that law is because there is discrimination, and that is simply against the law. From a township perspective, background checks prior to the rental add no value to the process. It would promote discriminatory housing practices, which the courts would look unfavorably upon as discrimination in any form against the law. This ordinance tonight represents a first step with regulating the rental community, and I am confident that this revised ordinance will achieve the desired goal of improving the living condition of rental properties in Barnegat, along with having a positive impact on restoring the quality of life in certain neighborhoods. Practice of law is dynamic and ever-changing, and as a result, there is no single law that is perfect or can take into account every possible scenario or situation. In this case, this ordinance establishes a strong foundation so that the township can move forward with the enhanced oversight of the rental community. We are also looking at additional existing federal and state laws that can improve life here in Barnegat, including several already in play. On to the Edwards School. The township has had an opportunity to meet with select members of the school board to discuss the future of the Edwards School. Currently, the township is in the process of exploring options for the productive future use of the school. The Edwards School reflects an important part of Barnegat's past, and steps must be taken to preserve this historic building. In the near future, the township will make a presentation to the Board of Education regarding various options for the future beneficial use of the building. The township wants to work closely with the school board so that we together can come up with a practical solution for the Edwards School. In my opinion, this partnership between the township and the school is vital for the future economic viability of the downtown, and I truly do look forward to working with the Board of Education on this important issue. Hiring of replacement police officers. While Deputy Mayor Marty LaSala will discuss the resolutions dealing with replacement police hires in detail, I do want to take an opportunity to tell a brief little story about my recent encounter with our police department. 2 Wednesdays ago, I was driving home on West Bay Avenue, and I witnessed one of our finest kneel down in the snow by a car with a female who was standing outside the car, helping her change her tire. I don't know about you, but I cannot remember a time where I have seen that in the past 10, 15, 20 years. It is our fine police department that did that. There's a reason why that happens. The reason is that we have what I consider a shining star here in Barnegat, and it is the Barnegat Police Department. I defy a female to get a flat tire on the Garden State Parkway and expect anything more than a state trooper to sit behind you and watch you do it yourself. That officer's action of fixing a flat tire for a motorist in the snow had a tremendous impact on me, and frankly made me very proud of this department. We are indeed fortunate to have caring and dedicated police officers employed by the township. And I stake here clearly and concisely that it is my pleasure to support the ordinance to appoint 2 new additional police officers to this fine department. Thank you. And thank you to our officers too. Deputy Mayor LaSala?
Thank you, Mayor. On the agenda this evening are resolutions to hire 2 replacement police officers. In order to understand why this township has a pressing need to hire these replacement officers, allow me an opportunity to briefly discuss staffing levels in the Barnegat Police Department. The maximum strength of the Barnegat Police Department was 47 sworn officers back in late 2006. Since 2006, I think we can all agree that the Barnegat experienced considerable growth during the almost 8 years. Between 2006 and 2009, Barnegat was successful with maintaining adequate police staffing levels since departing officers were replaced. Starting in 2010, as a result of budgetary constraints from a major recession and a downturn in the real estate market, the township did not replace any officers who left the department. The result was a drastic decrease in number of sworn officers, and by the spring of 2013, Barnegat Police were down to 41 sworn officers. The alarming decrease in the Barnegat Police ranks convinced the majority of the Township Committee of the urgent need to replace retiring officers. Authorization was given for the Barnegat Police to commence with the recruitment process, and in the summer of 2013, over 250 candidates applied to become Barnegat police officers. The rigorous testing process by both state and national accreditation produced a list of highly qualified candidates. This past October, the township hired 2 replacement officers, which increased staffing to 43 sworn officers. However, be mindful that between the police academy and the Barnegat Police Field Training Program, these officers will not be incorporated in patrol until late 2014. With a planned retirement of a detective in 2014, Barnegat Police will be reduced to 42 sworn officers. Taking into account the amount of time necessary for an officer to graduate the police academy and to successively pass the Barnegat Police Field Training Program, the 2 replacement officers hired this evening will not be on the road until the first quarter of 2015. While there is much history behind the police staffing levels in Barnegat, the issue at hand is rather straightforward. If you are comfortable with police staffing levels that are comparable to at least 10 years ago when the township was smaller and had no high school, then respond accordingly. However, considering the growth of the community, the establishment of the high school, along with drastic increases in computer-related and drug crimes, the majority of this committee felt strongly justified in hiring these 2 individuals so the Barnegat Police can continue providing the deserving community with the award-winning law enforcement work, along with maintaining an acceptable level of safety for its officers. As elected leaders of this community, we have both a legal and moral obligation to provide required resources to the township's workforce so they can perform their jobs effectively and safely. As a former Army MP, I understand and appreciate the dangers faced on a daily basis by our officers, and I would strongly urge this committee tonight to approve these 2 replacement officers. You cannot consistently preach the need to enhance the policing of Barnegat, but yet at every opportunity deny the police department the very resources required by them to effectively and safely respond to the needs of this growing community. Barnegat was recently recognized as one of the 50 safest communities in New Jersey. That distinction was a result of the impressive and hard work of the Barnegat Police Department. Clearly, Barnegat Police has demonstrated that they are capable of doing more with less. But there comes a time when resources are necessary in order to continue with effective law enforcement work. In times of trouble, we never hesitate to call upon Barnegat Police for assistance. Now it is time for this committee to stand united and support the police by approving these replacement hirees this evening. A couple of side notes regarding Barnegat Police. Outside Town Hall this evening is a U.S. military vehicle that Barnegat received from the federal government. This vehicle is a high water vehicle and could be used for rescue operations along the bayfront during storms. One lesson we learned from Hurricane Sandy is that we do not want our waterfront line first responder vehicles in salt water. In total, Barnegat received 4 of these type vehicles and 2 personnel carrier trucks. Instrumental with securing over $200,000 in donated military equipment to the Barnegat is Officer Alex Hoffman. I don't know if you're in the crowd right now.
Great.
We'd like to thank you. Officer Hoffman spent much of his own time navigating the federal bureaucracy to obtain these vehicles to be used in emergency operations. I would like to acknowledge the effort of Officer Hoffman this evening and thank him for his dedication to Barnegat. Great job, Officer Hoffman. Finally, one officer who could not be here tonight is Officer Eddie Hayes. Officer Hayes broke his leg responding to a first aid call during the recent snowstorm. We wish Officer Hayes a speedy recovery, and thank you, everyone.
Committeeman Billy.
Thank you, Mayor. On tonight's agenda is a resolution that reflects the commencing of a process to locate an age-restricted affordable housing project in Barnegat. While many details still need to be finalized, some basic information on the proposed project is as follows. The proposed site is located on the west side of Route 9 between Georgetown Boulevard and the Stafford Township line. This particular site has been on the market for many, many years. This will be an age-restricted project, no families, consisting of 70 units, which will consist of 1 and 2 bedroom rental units. The project will be financed through the state with the Hurricane Sandy funding that is available to assist with providing low and moderate income housing opportunities for individuals adversely impacted by the storm. Again, this is age restricted. If this project is selected by the state, then Barnegat will benefit financially as a result of reducing school age or family housing, increasing ratables, and related enhanced tax collections, and improve the municipality recreation facilities and programs. The developers included in this project are Hobanian and Koch brothers. The proposed consists of centralizing the age-restricted affordable housing obligation resulting from the Fifth Avenue tract, that is the area past Horizon, and with Lighthouse Village, which is located on Lighthouse Road, and will be located on one building on Route 9. This site is much more appropriate since public transportation is readily available and the commercial establishments are walking distance. This would be similar to the Mignotti development behind the Rite Aid, where he moved his affordable housing onto Route 9. Again, this resolution of need reflects the first step in a very lengthy process in which Barnegat will compete with other communities in an attempt to secure age-restricted housing and rental units, for which there is a significant and growing need in Barnegat. It reflects a concept proposed by the 2 developers, and the project will be subject to all necessary local permits and approvals. Police replacement officers. Deputy Mayor Marty Lasella did an excellent job in providing a compelling justification for the urgent need to hire the 2 replacement officers this evening. Keeping Barnegat safe is a top priority, and we must provide the required resources so that the Barnegat Police can respond to the needs of the growing community along with providing adequate safety for their officers. We are all proud of the performance of the Barnegat Police. Chief Drexler, please keep up the outstanding work. Thank you for all you've done for the community. Thank you, guys.
Committeeman Morano.
Thank you. First, I'd just like to clarify that I hope it's not similar to the complex behind Route 9, the Rite Aid, because we have a lot of problems over there. It's not, but this is senior.
Age restricted.
Right, the other one is not,
Right.
it's just low,
Right.
that's very important,
Right.
we have a lot of problems over there. It's another it's another Lexington. But in the meantime, I just wanna say, first of all, our police department is probably number one in Ocean County for the work they do. My biggest concern is, did we check our budget? We have folks here, I mean, I'm very proud of any young person that wants to be a police officer, believe me. They deserve it, they're great, I feel safe when they're around. Can we afford them? I don't know, we don't have a budget. New administration, as of January, hired 4 policemen already. This will be 4, plus a detective, plus motorcycles. Somebody has to drive the motorcycles. They have to go to school to be certified now. You just can't hop on a motorcycle. It's probably gonna be 2 more officers to handle that. Can we afford them? That's my problem. I don't know if we could afford them. I think they're great, believe me. If we had all the money in the world, every police department wants more, and they deserve more. Can the people pay for it? That's the problem. I do have an article not too long ago in Barnegat Township, headlines, police chief says department is committed to running lean. What happened? We're not running lean. And believe me, it irks me when we don't get all 5 people together and discuss these things, that when you come to a meeting and it's on your agenda, and you have all the gentlemen and ladies here, it doesn't scare me. It just makes me mad, because we all should sit down with the chief, know what's going on, and know if we can afford it. That's the most important thing.
Why isn't that happening?
I don't know, I'd have to ask the new majority.
Why is that not happening?
But that's
We'll open
okay.
up to the public when it's time,
Thank you.
shortly.
Other than that, I'm gonna good news. I went to the Fireman's Fish Dinner, and they had a great turnout Friday night. Had about 200-300 people. They'll have another one on Good Friday. If everybody come out and have a good time and meet everybody. Again, I thank you all for being police officers in my town, because I feel I've seen most of you grow up in the town. You're doing a great job, and please, it's personal. It's business, not personal. Believe me. Thank you.
Thank you. Committeewoman Taylor.
Good evening. This is going to be a pretty short report. I just have a couple of comments I would like to make. Due to the fact that the majority of the Township Committee voted to reduce meetings to once per month, I would like to propose that we extend public session from 5 minutes to 8 minutes. Our agendas are pretty lengthy, and when questions get answered during the 5 minutes, it cuts down on the time that residents get to speak. Next, over the past few months, it seems like this Township Committee is moving backwards instead of forwards. We keep spending money on the backs of the taxpayers. Last year, we had a budget which saw an increase of 2 cents. I am afraid that this year, with the winter that we have had, which has resulted in tremendous amount of overtime, and the hiring of numerous employees within the past 6 months, our budget this year will break many of our residents. Therefore, I am asking this committee to support a motion right now that I am putting out that will put a freeze on all hiring of all employees, at least until we see the preliminary budget, so we can try to limit any increases of taxes for our residents. Thank you.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Is that a motion?
That's a motion.
I would second that, as long as we could, have a freeze up until at least we know where we're going, which should be within the next couple of months. So I would agree with that, to have a freeze, which I thought we did have, actually. There a third? Roll call?
Staff since 2007.
Well, it's not working. If you want to talk about hiring of full-time employees and job freezes and items like that, let's take that reflection on history.
Wait, I put out a motion, I'd like to vote on that motion,
Not
please.
essential, we're not talking about essential.
I'm talking about,
I'm talking about a motion that's out, Ms. Township Attorney?
Ms. Taylor?
With a motion and a second here in Tuck's book, you can also have discussion on that motion if you like. That's up to the majority.
Okay.
Committeewoman Taylor, I respect your motions, I'd like to give them full consideration, and that's why I'm asking questions. In the future, if possible, and certainly you do as you please, but I'd love to have a little bit of lead-in so that, you know, it's on paper, I can read it, consider it, with some sort of time frame. But that being said, if we could discuss a little bit the motion first before we institute a hiring freeze, that would be good.
with respect to hiring full-time township employees, back in late 2009, the township realized that as a result of the economic downturn and the decrease in ratables throughout the township, we were facing a financial crisis. In response, the township did not hire any, and I repeat, any full-time employees between December of 2009 and April of 2013. The first employee that we hired in April of 2013 was an administrative assistant in the township clerk's office. Then in October of 2013, we hired 2 police officers to supplement the force, which was reduced down to 41 sworn officers from a high of 47 in late 2006. As the mayor and deputy mayor clearly indicated, since 2006, this township has experienced a fair amount of growth throughout the community. In addition, the amount of technology or computer crimes and drug-related incidents have drastically increased throughout the township. Despite the diminished ranks of Barnegat Police, they have been very proactive in responding to the needs of the community and attempting to stem the flow or tide of drugs in Barnegat. Barnegat Police Department currently has 5 detectives in the Detective Division or Bureau. 2 of them are assigned exclusively to narcotics and drug type of incidents and situations. I would ask you to take a look at the size of the Detective Bureau back in the late 90s and the early 2000s and compare it to what it is today. And you will see that the Detective Bureau was larger back then than it is today. In addition, we are hiring or promoting one of the patrol officers tonight to detective. This patrol officer has been temporarily assigned to the Detective Bureau for 2 years, 2 to 3 years. For the past 2 years, this individual has led the department in arrest and has been instrumental, along with his partner, in reducing and addressing the crime issue that is not only plaguing Barnegat, but Ocean County and the state of New Jersey in general. However, this individual will be promoted tonight at no cost to the township as a result of this administration several years ago negotiating out of the police contract any pay differential for detectives, which at the time was 10%, which amounted to over $10,000 in some situations. As the mayor, deputy mayor, and committee member Al Billy has stated, Barnegat Police Department, with less resources, has done more. They have been able to respond to the needs of the community. However, you reach a point of critical mass when the safety of the officers and their ability to respond is jeopardized as a result of reduced resources. So the question we should be asking tonight is not can we afford it, but can we not afford bringing additional police officers, replacement police officers?
I'd like to continue this comment discussion. I'm not sitting here saying that we shouldn't hire police officers.
I was just
That's
gonna
it.
ask you what the parameter was.
It was for employees
Starting now,
starting just until we see the preliminary budget. That's all I'm asking. I wanna see, we also hired a code housing or code in October. I'm sorry, we hired somebody in October, full-time code person.
It's through a shared service agreement.
It said full-time on our agenda, so,
And the full-time is split between the two towns.
which we're still paying.
Again, let's realize,
I'm not
both
done.
Barnegat
You're
and
interrupting
Ocean-
me, please.
now, you asked a question,
No, I didn't.
I will respond. You said, did we hire a full-time code enforcement? We hired a UCC inspector that is split between the two towns. As a result of Hurricane Sandy and the upturn in the economy, the workload on the UCC or construction office is increasing. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And all I'm saying is, up until we see a preliminary budget, that's all I'm asking. I'm not asking that I don't wanna hire the officers. I just gotta see what's gonna happen to our taxes for the town people. 2 cents last year, 5 cents this year, who knows? How much more can we take? And if we can reduce in a different area, when we look at the preliminary budget, and put it more towards the police, I'm all for it. I just don't want to be giving them more that they can handle, because you know what? They're gonna be leaving the town, and we're not gonna need all the police officers, because we're not gonna have anyone living here anymore.
Well, if I could make a statement on that, being in real estate, I'll put my real estate hat on. If we don't have safety in this town, people will be leaving this town a lot faster, and your values will plummet. Trust me, they'll plummet.
To address, and again, part of the discussion, I know that 2 of our detectives were very busy last week. Chief, is that correct? Sadly lost another soul to the addictions of drugs. And instead of dealing with that in the way that I would only know how to deal with that, which is to mourn the loss, the Barnegat Police Department engaged in a investigation resulting in an arrest in Atlantic City. It was an all-day event. These officers worked tirelessly. I thought it outstanding, to be honest with you. I've never heard anything like that, didn't know that existed, and was so pleased that this woman who we've lost has some sort of validation, and there'll be some sort of vindication for her. And the Barnegat Police Department got us that. The reason why these 2 additional police officers are being presented tonight is because, once again, we are chasing, and Chief, feel free to pipe in if I get this wrong, but we're facing an extraordinarily tight timeline with regards to the police academy. And even if we catch this next round, which we need to, as stated by the Deputy Mayor, they're not going to hit the streets, so to speak, until 2015. We're not adding to a force that's already full. We are dealing with a rash of retirements that have kind of been occurring lately. Upwards of 5 by the time they're done this round. We're replacing 4 of the 5. So we're leaving a gap, we're leaving 1 empty, and we're replacing the 4. Now, the ones that are retiring were at the top or closer to the top of the pay scale. Chief, again, stop me if I get this wrong. The people that are coming in at the lower rungs of the pay scale. They have to work their way up just like those that retired did. So in actuality, the immediate cost for the next several years will actually be less than what it was before these police officers retired.
Okay.
So I don't think we're exceeding our budget. I think we're actually under our budget for the next several years.
Well, yeah, but if you look at it, it's less versus, it's $43,000 or $86,000 more than if we didn't replace them. If you understand what I'm getting at.
I do understand what you're saying, but just in response to that, I would say at that point, I have to turn back to the concern of how many souls we have, approximately 23,000 souls in this town. What's our square footage? What's our mileage?
35 square miles.
35 square miles. It's a lot of land to patrol. We got to look at the potential of replacing the DARE officer. There are all sorts of things that we have to consider.
I'm sorry, is the DARE, well, we haven't had a DARE officer in quite a while, right? Okay, because it's not the detective now. He's the detective. Is he still doing it?
Yes.
Oh, okay. And I didn't know if the school was planning on replacing the DARE officer.
Well, unfortunately, again, that's something that has not been discussed. I've been waiting to get a
And
response
that's
for that. because,
exactly what I'm
again,
saying.
I
It's something
have to
we're
prepare.
facing.
School year comes up quick.
We're facing it. I'm not saying it's today, I'm not saying it's tomorrow, but we are facing it. So for these reasons, you know, I mean, this is discussion, but if anybody else has anything to say, otherwise we'll put it up for a vote. Okay, can you do roll call, please?
Committeewoman Taylor?
Yes.
Committeeman Billy?
No.
Committeeman Morano?
Yes.
Committeeman LaSalla?
No.
This is the
Sorry,
table
Deputy
higher.
Mayor LaSalla.
Oh.
Mayor McCain?
No. All right, administrator's report.
Thank you, Mayor. I have several reports tonight before we get to the agenda. The first report I have tonight deals with Ash Britt. In response to Hurricane Sandy, the Township of Barnegat entered into a shared service agreement with the County of Ocean to utilize Ash Britt to assist in debris removal along the bayfront and lagoon area as a result of the tidal surge of Hurricane Sandy. During 2013, the first and second quarter, there was much press regarding the inappropriate or improper use of Ash Britt with respect to contracting and procurement regulations. Much debate was centered around whether or not the state of New Jersey followed proper procedures with regards to emergency purchasing with respect to securing the services of Ash Britt. The Department of Homeland Security, part of the federal government, Office of Inspector General, reviewed all records pertaining to the use of Ash Britt on both the state, county, and local level, and has made a determination that the state of New Jersey has complied with all federal and state procurement regulations surrounding emergency contracts for the use of Ash Britt to remove debris as a result of Hurricane Sandy. In addition, it has stated that any local municipality use of the contract during the emergency period between November 4th, 2012 and January 3rd, 2013 would meet state and federal guidelines and standards. Based on our records, the last time Ash Britt was in town, assisting Barnegat with removing debris from the streets and public right-of-ways was the week of January 3rd, 2013, within the established time frame as stated by the Department of Homeland Security, the Office of Inspector General. So in essence, at the end of the day, the state of New Jersey and the County of Ocean and the Township of Barnegat utilized Ash Britt in accordance with emergency purchase regulations as established by both the federal government and the state of New Jersey. I would like to thank the members of this governing body that supported contracting and entering into a shared service agreement with Ash Britt with the County of Ocean, as it proved to be proper, correct, and provided an efficient means of removing debris from the streets of Barnegat as quickly as possible.
This just shows that we did the right thing, even though sometimes we heard criticism. We knew what we were doing, we did the right thing, and we were proven to do that. Thank you, Dave.
With regards to Hurricane Sandy, it was quite a dramatic event for the township. Many individuals along the bayfront were in a state of despair, to say the least. And I take offense to some people who Monday morning quarterback months after the event saying, you may have not processed your paperwork correctly. Be out in the street in late October and November and see the mountains of debris. And you do what you need to do to get that debris off the streets as quickly as possible to return a sense of normalcy to the residents who live along the bayfront and within areas of Barnegat.
There's still a lot of them that are in the house.
That's correct, that's correct. It had a dramatic and significant impact on Barnegat and the coastal communities of Ocean County and New Jersey. While some of us may think of Hurricane Sandy as a distant memory, others are still living with the grief and anguish that it caused. Another related topic, snow, winter, ice, and cold. As indicated at the last Township Committee meeting, the cost of winter operations in Barnegat is mounting. This meeting is being held on a postponed date as a result of snow last Monday. I clearly indicated at the last meeting that snow operations, salting and plowing will have an adverse impact on our budget. There's no real other response that Barnegat can provide except salt and plow when winter weather conditions are present. In addition, the state of New Jersey has recognized the financial burden that snow operations have placed on municipalities and has issued a local finance notice allowing municipalities a 1-year exemption from the cap law for any and all costs associated with winter operations above what is normal. I think we all could agree that this winter has not been normal, and that the cost associated with responding to winter conditions has been extraordinary. And as a result, like any other municipality in the state of New Jersey, we will take advantage of that one-time cap exemption, as our snow operation costs are probably in the neighborhood of approaching $300,000. Much of that is salt at $81, $82 a ton, and using over 200 tons per event. With a dozen events so far this year, it adds up and adds up quickly. But I would ask the audience, what is the alternative? There is none. You must respond to winter conditions.
Just in response to that, we were the only town that was lucky enough to have some still left. There's been a major shortage, and David did a great job on doing that we had it, nobody else had it.
Good planning on that part, and I would ask anybody in the audience if they had a problem with snow plowing, because I know in my area, and I know in Lenny's area and a couple of other areas, I think the public works in this town of the 12 snowstorms did an outstanding job. And thank you very much for that.
Snow plowing is a team effort, everything from Public Works, Water and Sewer Police, to the finance office, and our finance director is sitting in the back row back there. And every time I say snow to her, she needs medical attention. Okay? However, she's been very cooperative, very understanding, in being able to secure the resources that we need to plow. And as Lenny indicated, or committee member Morano indicated, Barnegat did not experience a salt shortage. In addition, currently Barnegat supplies salt to 3 other communities. So we have an obligation not only to our town, but to 3 other towns to make sure they have adequate salt supply.
And Kathy, they're talking about snow on Thursday.
Oh, please, no.
I did not.
Sorry.
I didn't tell her that. Okay.
I'll take the hit.
And finally, the last report before we get to the agenda is that we had what I would consider to be a significant water main break out in the Pinewood Estates, Brighton Mobile Home Park area on Friday. As a result, it's my understanding that residents were without water for several or numerous hours. Barnegat Township assisted property management with regards to notification. However, we will follow up to make sure all procedures and policies with regards to state notification were followed with respect to Pinewood management. Please keep in mind that the water system in Pinewood and Brighton is not, and I repeat, is not part of the Barnegat Township water system. If it was, better things would happen. Now, to the agenda. Page 2 of the agenda, we have numerous ordinances up for second reading, public hearing, and final adoption tonight. On page 2, ordinance 2014-01 is a salary ordinance, which every town does every year. It lists the various positions within the township and the base salaries. At the request of committee member Taylor, we went through that list and have deleted those titles that have not been used in a number of years. Ordinance 2014-2 and 3 are ordinances updating the sewer and water rules and regulations. According to water and sewer engineer John Hess, the last time this was done was 1983. That's 31 years ago. Okay, enough of that. Ordinance 2004 2014-6, ordinance regarding cable TV programming policies and procedures. Hopefully within the next month or two, Barnegat Township will have their own local government access channel, which will provide informational screens in addition to videos of township committee meetings and other public meetings. Prior to this occurring, we would like to have a set of rules and regulations in place. This provides that set of rules and regulations needed to regulate and control the use of the local government channel. Page 3 of the agenda, second reading, public hearing, and final adoption, ordinance 2014-07. I call this the Gucci mailbox ordinance. On occasion, as a result of snow plowing operations, we may hit or damage a mailbox. At times, we have residents coming in and giving us $200 or $300 bills for that mailbox. What this ordinance does is limit the amount of reimbursement to $75, consistent and in accordance with what most towns have. Second reading, public hearing, and final adoption of ordinance 2014-08 and accompanying resolution 2014-152. I will turn to Township Attorney Mr. Starkey for details.
This ordinance, there was a vacation, which means an elimination of a roadway back in 1996, and that appears to have been done in error. We are reversing that. Now, there were some concerns raised last year that because we're doing that the land at issue would revert to a local developer known as the Walters Group. We held the ordinance off last year because of that concern. What we have now is an ordinance approving it, but subject to the Walters Group transferring that land to the township. Part of it's coming to the township, part of it's going to the New Jersey Natural Lands Trust along with deed restrictions, so it will be preserved forever. It will never be the subject of any development because the deed restriction, the township owns it, Natural Lands Trust owns it, and that is a condition of the township committee taking action tonight. We have a separate resolution confirming that's on for tonight. And I have the deeds from the Walters Group that will be recorded after this is approved, transferring that to the township.
Thank you. On page 7 of the agenda, resolution 2014-133, resolution appointing Phil Miller as municipal court judge for a 3-year period beginning April 1st, 2014. I believe this is the 5th 3-year appointment of Judge Miller to the Barnegat bench. I've known Mr. Miller, Judge Miller, since 2006. He's an outstanding judge, team player, and understands the dynamics of local government. We are indeed fortunate to have Judge Miller as a local judge here in Barnegat. Since 2006, the number of court sessions in Barnegat has increased from 3 to 6. The complexity of municipal court law has also increased, and Mr. Miller does an outstanding and impressive job in keeping abreast of current and present rules and regulations and laws impacting municipal court. We are, again, indeed fortunate, and I strongly recommend the Township Committee make this appointment. Still on page 7, resolutions 136, 137, appointing 2 replacement. Again, the key here is replacement police officers. They will have to go to the Ocean County Police Academy, participate in the Barnegat Township Field Training Program, and will be incorporated into patrol, most likely the first quarter of 2015. Again, Barnegat Police maximum strength was 47 sworn officers in late 2006. With these 2 additional police officers, replacement officers tonight, we will get up to 44. Resolution 214-138, promoting Patrolman Gregory Martinez to first-class detective. Unfortunately, due to the sensitivity of Patrolman Gregory Martinez's work, it would not be wise to have him up here tonight, accepting the promotion, having pictures and video taken of him, as that could compromise any investigation, or even more so, his safety. Needless to say, people often use the word undercover in a miscorrect way. When a person has to change their physical appearance in order to blend into the environment that they're trying to infiltrate, that is true undercover. Officer Martinez has done that on numerous occasions. Him and his partner have been instrumental, essential, vital in stemming the tide of drugs in Barnegat Township. Officer Martinez has led the department the past 2 years in arrest, has been able to confiscate over $140,000 in confiscated property and drugs, and he has earned and he has deserved this promotion. 40, advertising for a financial advisor. The township would like to do 2 things with the adoption of this. Once we secure a financial advisor, we would like to refinance or refund a 2005 bond ordinance, which will save the township roughly $140,000 over 5 years. In addition, the township would like to go to permanent financing within the next year to secure the historical low interest rates that are readily available in the market. Recently, the township did some temporary financing and was able to secure an interest rate of roughly 1% on that temporary financing, which speaks volumes to the financial stability of the township. Page 8, Resolution 149 is a grant to New Jersey Transit trying to secure funding for a new bus to supplement our transportation fleet with the Barnegat transportation system. 150 is requesting that the state make the 2% cap on interest arbitration awards permanent. And finally, 151 is asking the federal government to delay increases in federal flood insurance. I do believe the House of Representatives has adopted that. We are waiting on the Senate. Thank you very much, Mayor. My apologies for being long-winded.
Mr. Brady, may I ask one question?
Yes.
The financial advisor, they get paid through the savings that we get from when they redo the bonds, correct?
There's 2
Like
options.
they take it out of there?
What you do is either increase slightly the amount of the reissuance of the bonds to cover the cost, or you take it out of savings. Either.
At 6 to 1?
At the end of the day, to save 140, you spend 25.
Right, no, that wasn't,
Yeah.
I was just curious how it worked. I didn't know if we had to put them.
Either or, I think
All right,
what you do is
okay.
maybe increase, if you're refinancing $1 million, you make it up $1,030,000.
And then they get
That
paid
covers
for
the
that.
cost, you
Okay.
realize your savings, everybody is pleased and happy.
Thank you.
So anyone could be Detective Martinez, is that what you're saying?
He could be in this room tonight.
Good,
I'll
yeah.
take the next.
Very well, thank you. Take a motion to open for public comment, please.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we're open. Anybody interested in making comment? Please state your name and address, please.
Good evening. My name is Anita Dendera. I live at Heritage Point, 5 Montauk Place. First of all, I'd like to say, over the years, I have worked with numerous police departments, both in Bergen County and Essex County. None can compare to the Barnegat Police Department. They are the best of the best. We have started an amazing neighborhood watch in our community, and without the help of Chief Drexler, Officer Steins, and the entire police department, we wouldn't be as great as we are today. I have the chairman here. They will speak for the neighborhood watch. But I have to say I've had a few emergencies where the police have been there in less than a minute at my house. And to put a price on someone's life or health, I think it's a no-brainer. We need the police. I moved to Barnegat to be in a better location, unfortunately, up in Essex County. I was burglarized twice, not once. It's an awful feeling. And to have the police department by your side is an amazing thing. Chief Drexler and Officer Steins have given us complete communication, instant communication at all times. It's an amazing thing. I can't tell you what it means to our community and our residents at Heritage Point. I thank you for your time.
evening, Mayor, Deputy Mayor, members of the council. My name is Joe Marty. I reside at 1 Sable Court in Heritage Point. I am the co-chair, along with my good friend who's out there, Dave Osho, the co-chair of the Neighborhood Watch Committee. Dave and I would like to thank the Barnegat Police Department for 2 reasons tonight. One, for helping us get our Neighborhood Watch up and running after we suffered a series of break-ins. I have to single out Officer Steins for his dedication. He has been involved in many meetings and he helped get all our residents involved. Also Chief Drexler for his help and support. And the second reason, because of their help and support and get us up and running, and because of the involvement of our residents at Heritage Point, and because of some really good old-fashioned police work by the Barnegat Police Department, this person that wreaked havoc in our neighborhood has now been apprehended, arrested, and awaiting trial. And all of us at Heritage Point are extremely grateful to the men and women of the Barnegat Police Department for that arrest. Thank you. Now, I know it would be very easy for me to stand up here tonight and ask you to hire additional police officers because we are grateful and our emotions are running high. But I don't want to make the decision on emotions. I want to make it on facts. And the facts were stated here tonight. Barnegat is growing and will continue to grow. I'm a retiree from the State County Superior Court system. If I learned anything, it's that crime and criminals never take a holiday. Drugs and drug use, not only in Barnegat, but everywhere, is on the increase. Heroin and heroin use is at epidemic proportions. And 4, modern technology has given criminals a new element to use against us. So, it seems the things that I've talked about have grown, but yet the Barnegat Police Department hasn't grown enough to keep pace with these problems. And that's sad. And I know all of you have have a lot of obligations, responsibilities up here. And I admire all of what you do and all the tough decisions you have to make. But one of the responsibilities that you have is to keep the citizens and the streets of Barnegat as safe and secure as possible. And if that requires the addition of new police officers, then so be it. Let's get it done. I stand here and highly recommend that you think about hiring these police officers, and I'm doing this not on gratitude or emotion, but on facts. And again, as I said before, crime and criminals never take a holiday, so let's get it done. Thank you.
Jake Taylor, 106 Newark Road. I don't want to give Artie a heart attack, but I support hiring the police. For the simple reason, we're only replacing retired police officers. Plus, it might have a big effect on the amount of overtime in the police department. You don't always mention that, but I do keep a little tabs on the overtime and look out. So I think, in the future, so we don't have this division and a lot of emotions running high, when a guy retires, we should replace him. That only goes in the police department and then works public works. That's how normal people run their business. They don't make a political thing about it. They just replace the retired person, and it's done with. That's the smart way to do it. On 139, on the age-restricted apartments, how's the tax system, real estate tax system going to be? Is it going to be similar to the affordable housing, or will it be straight out a tax, an assessed value tax?
There are 2 impacts as a result of this issue moving forward. Number 1, the affordable housing project, the senior age-restricted rental affordable housing project on Route 9, consisting of 70 units, will be a pilot agreement. Now, before you bark back at me, the pilot agreement is mandated, required by the state of New Jersey. We have no flexibility in that. However, where the township of Barnegat will benefit is, number 1, we will have the KHOV development, the 5th Avenue tract, and the Cokes development, the Lighthouse Village, will all have market rate houses there. in which the rateable base will increase and our tax collection will increase. Additionally, if you recall, the KHOD track, the Fifth Avenue track, as a result of state law, it permitted them to take an age-restricted community and convert it into family housing. They got approval and finalized the plans for 191 single-family units out there. As a result of this agreement, if it is adopted and approved by the state, we will eliminate that school age or family housing out there, which is a great benefit to Barnegat. So in response to your question, Mr. Taylor, the senior housing development, which will be affordable housing, it's pilot. We cannot do anything about that. However, the township will derive additional tax collection as a result of having 100% market rate housing in those two communities.
We can do a lot about it. We can reject them building it there, and they won't build it. We could build houses out there and collect taxes off them. There's a lot of things you can do about it. Just waving the flag and saying
The number of houses we can build on Route 9 will not offset the number of houses we can build in those two developments. It's a win.
What I'm saying, the state is not mandating us. The state is not mandating us to build senior apartments. We just built 96 apartments down here, and the state only required 54.
And again, realize
which
that
we to get no taxes from.
we got a pilot agreement consistent with state law. In addition, the township is in solid position for round 3, which will be coming. We will have a round 3 obligation. If you deny that, it will happen.
Well, I haven't talked to the guy at the state. You weren't at the zoning board, planning board meeting when the guy stated that 54 houses, and they might not even be around 3. But what I'm saying is, when these apartments are built, we take it on the chin as far as the taxes. The 44 apartments over on Patriots Cove over there, we got $17,000 in taxes for 1 year. That doesn't pay for one kid in school, and there's kids climbing all over that place. But you know, and I'm the one, and the rest of these taxpayers are the one to foot the bill for it. And I don't want to see more apartments built that we have to foot the bill for. If you can assure me that you're going to build senior apartments and it ain't going to come out of Jake's pocket, I'm for it. But if I got to pay for it, I don't want it.
They will be senior apartments, age restricted, no families.
All right, I guess you're going to speak on 2000 on the land on number 08.
Township attorney.
We had a second reading. Was that 08?
We already spoke about it.
Well, it'll have to come up for
second reading, public hearing, final.
Second reading. All right, I'll come back in. Thanks.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Just state your name and address for the record.
Yes, my name's Tom Pappas. I live at 149 Bemis Drive in Barnegat. This is my first time here, so
welcome.
Nice to watch you all in action. I came here for a different reason, but since the subject of the police department came up, I want to commend these guys. They do a hell of a job. The few times I've called them, they're on it. They come in like a team, and they do a very, very efficient job. I have a son-in-law who applied for Barnegat Police, and of course he was not called, or he'd be standing here, or at least in the academy. However, he went on to New Jersey State Police Academy, and he is finalizing his brutal training at the Navy SEALs of New Jersey. Well, he's doing it, not me. The point of my comment regarding the police is we had some very good candidates, 250 of them, as I heard. I know these kids pay $75 just to have the honor of applying for this job. Okay, that's the way the game works. Out of these 250, do we have any ability to tap somebody and say, you know, you are number 5 guy, are you still available? Are you still interested? Or do we have to go through the expense of doing this testing all over again? I don't know if it's a law that has to happen. Anybody?
It's a 2 or 3 year list.
Okay.
Depending on at the end of 2 years.
So your recent test, you could contact any of those people that you thought were good candidates and re-interview them?
Chief Director, can you go through the three-stage process
Yeah.
which all candidates have to go through as
there's
a result of state and national accreditation?
Yeah, there's a three-stage process, okay? There's a written test given by whatever agency, in this particular case, it was the state chiefs. They came down and give a written test, okay? You had to pass the written test, you have to pass each phase to move on to the next. They passed, whoever passed that phase goes on to a next phase, which is the physical part, which, as you said, it's a moving physical. If you pass that, you move ahead to the oral stage. Now, at that point, because the numbers are sitting around somewhere, probably at that phase, I think we had, somewhere around 100-ish, give or take. Can't interview 100 people. It's just, it's grueling. It takes a lot of time, and it's counterproductive. So I interviewed the top 20, 25, I think it was. Top scores, developed a list, and some of them get other jobs, some of them don't want the job any longer. But in this case, it is the top 4 guys that we've had over the last time to this time. And that's the process. Now, the list is good for 2 years. I have the option at the end of those 2 years to make it a 3rd year. The reason that option's there is over the course of 2 years, especially when you're dealing with that age bracket, 20 to 25 mainly, people move on to other careers. So when the list becomes futile, kind of that, and before you dig down too deep into it, you may run a new test.
Okay.
Or you may just use that list for 30 years.
I was just curious.
Yeah, after 3 years, you start the process all over.
Okay, all right.
That's where we're at.
But the original reason I came here tonight was I read